One of the issues that comes up quite a bit in some of the older versions of WordPress, and I'm not talking about way old, like 2.7 and 2.8 and so on, is the directories are kind of left open for attack. And by that I mean people, if they were to put in the URL or the path to, let's say, your plugins directory, and if it's not protected, then they're going to see something that looks like this, and that's a no-no. This is a big welcome sign for all the bad people out there saying, come on in here and tear my stuff up. You don't want this. And in some of the newer versions, actually all the newer versions of WordPress, this issue is taken care of by having a index file, be it index.php, which is the case most of the time, or if you were to make it yourself, just a blank index.htm or index.html file in that particular directory. Now there's another way to fix this same issue as well, and I'll cover that here in just a second. If we open up our FTP client and head on over to that particular, let me see, content, and in our plugins, you can see here that I've altered this. This is what was installed originally with the new install of our WordPress blog. It was index.php, but for me to demonstrate that whole for you, I put that 7 in there, so it's no longer an index file, it's just a bogus file. Now if we look at see what's inside of this, there's really nothing to it at all. This right here just says that it's a PHP file, and this is commented out, which basically just says silence is gold, and you can put anything in there, but for that matter you can even have it totally blank. Now it won't be an effective PHP file anymore, but let's say we've got to save this, and we're going to close this. I'm going to change this to a HTM, and then I'm going to get rid of that 7 at the beginning. So now then, it's an index.htm file. This too, it's totally blank, will do exactly what I was referring to as far as blocking that hole. Let's head on back over here and refresh this page, and you can see now you got a blank page. So if you put in the URL to your plugins directory, just like I did here, I'll kind of give you a quick showing here, like this. You've got your main URL where your blog is installed at, then you've got the /, and then the wp-content directory, then the /, and then plugins. And if you put this in your URL, if you put that URL in your browser and you get a blank page or a 404 error, or you're directed to another page because you're 301 directs, if you know what I'm talking about. Basically, if you do not get what we just had, then you're good to go. Now another way to do that, and again all that was taken care of was by a blank index.htm, index.php, index.html file, and you're good to go. And like I said, most all of the newer versions of WordPress have that already in place. But for the more geekified, there's another way that you can fix this, and that's to put in an htaccess file that is in the root directory of your WordPress blog. Now if you recall, whenever we first messed with installing our main domain and opening up our cPanel for the first time, there was a little box, if you recall, that I ticked to show all of the invisible files, I think it was. And what those are is the dot files, the .htaccess. Well, here, let me show you what I'm talking about. If we just navigate back, right here, all these dots. If I had not checked that particular box, then you would not be seeing these, and frankly I wouldn't be seeing them either. But as you can see, there is none of these here is a .htaccess. For this particular instance, we'll simply have to create a new one. No biggie. It's just a simple text document that you tweak it a little bit. Now then, as far as securing this without having to put those indexes in every single directory, every single file, you can create a .htaccess and slap that puppy right in your root directory of your WordPress blog. So whatever directory you have your WordPress blog stashed, that's where you need to put this htaccess or .htaccess. So let's go ahead and create one real quick. Now this is all there is to the htaccess file. This is all I need to put in there. Now if you have a htaccess file already in place, then you want to just add this text right here, the # space prevent space directory space listing next line, options, space, dash, indexes. And you want to just have this inserted at the bottom of whatever else you have in your htaccess file. Then you just click on save and then upload it and overwrite the existing htaccess that might be there. Now if you don't have one there, as we showed you do not have one here on ours, if we just go on back here, this is the main file or the main directory for our WordPress blog. There is no htaccess in there. So let's go ahead and save this one. I'm just going to save it to my desktop here. And it's a text document right now. Okay. And in other words, it's htaccess.txt. Don't worry about it. We're going to fix that in just a second. Now then we go to the root directory of our WordPress blog, basically where you see this stuff here. You got these three main folders and all the WP stuff right here. That's your root directory for your blog. So wherever you got your blog installed at, that's where you want to upload this htaccess. And here's our htaccess.txt. I'm just going to right click and then left click on upload. And it should be there probably right at the bottom. Yep, right here. Now then, to make this a .htaccess, drum roll please, you just select it. Basically you're just going to rename it, and then by doing this, I just clicked it twice, not quickly, just selected it, gave it a couple of seconds, then selected it again. That makes it to where I can rename it. Or you can always just right click on it and then click on rename. But in this instance, I'm just going to select it, 1, 2, 3, select it again, and then I'm going to get rid of the .txt at the end, and at the beginning just put a period. So we've now taken the htaccess.txt, deleted the .txt part of it, and put a dot at the very beginning, and then just click anywhere outside of here, and there we are. This is now a dot file, an invisible file, if you will. So now what we want to do is, if we come on back over here to our plugins directory, oops, wrong way, and we'll change this to where it's no longer an index file, so we can appear to be unprotected, and just put anything in there so that's no longer .html. I could just delete the thing too, for that matter. In either case, this is an unprotected directory right now, just as we showed you earlier where there was a list of those files in there because it was unprotected. Well, let's see what happens now with that .htaccess. And this, by the way, the htaccess in the root directory of your blog, it covers all the folders. All of these directories now are covered by this. So let's go ahead and come on back over to our, this is protected. This is the way it was with that index. Now that we've got rid of the index, it's unprotected, right? So you think. Let's refresh this and see what happens. But bing, that's what happens now. With that particular htaccess code in there, it gives this forbidden. And this is basically a 404 file saying it's not found and you do not have permissions to access this folder or directory. So that's cool. That's how you can protect. That's a couple of ways in which you can protect potentially unprotected directories throughout your WordPress blog, and especially in the older versions that did not have those index.php files scattered throughout. This .htaccess will save you a lot of time in going through each and every one of those directories to place that file in there. Just throw this at the beginning of it in your root directory of your WordPress blog and you're covered. You're good to go. That is how you can correct this particular problem, or a security hole if you will. And we're going to go ahead and cover several other ones here in the upcoming videos. We want to make sure that your blog is not only a money maker but also a secure money maker. So stay tuned for the rest of these videos in securing your WordPress blog. That's going to bring us to the end of this particular video. Thank you very much for watching, and you have a great day.